What's up, lovely people? Mario Gaming here, and today I'm bringing you the Inless Generator Guide. And the reason why we didn't do this on the PTR was because I was waiting for them to, extend the duration of the PTR. And no, that didn't happen. I wanted, I thought that, this PTR was, in my opinion, easily the best and most fun PTR that we've had in a really long time, especially because of the Royal Ring of Grandeur buff. And I think there was more testing to be done. And also, not only that, I mean, why did they just close it down? People had fun on the PTR. It's also one of these things that Blizzard says, like, hey, we're going to listen to you. I'm just tired of all of these big corporations just sitting there. I'm glad that we gamers actually are, we're getting, really strong. And all of this backlash to all of these bigger companies that are, bring us games, we don't tolerate this disrespect anymore, and you can see this on many games. I'm not going to attack any game developer right now. That's not the idea of this. It's just that it just feels like they said that they were going to listen to us and stuff, and now I'm talking about Blizzard, and it just feels like no, you didn't really listen. People wanted a longer PTR. People wanted to try builds and stuff. There was definitely more testing to be done, in my opinion, and most of the people that I was talking to on the stream, people agreed there should be more testing. We should also have a longer PTR. 1 week is, in my opinion, definitely not enough. So I was a little disappointed when just had 1 week and that was it. And the whole idea was that, hey, when the PTR is over, then I'm gonna bring you the guide. So, well, here we are. The PTR was over a while ago, and I haven't seen any, posts about nerfs and stuff. They have announced the season already. So yeah, that's why I'm bringing you the build. We're gonna go through everything. So I'm gonna start with the fists. And the thing is with the fists, this is gonna pretty much explain to you what the build is about. The build is about to have as high as possible maximum spirit. So you do have a passive that increases your spirit by 50, and then you have fists that give you maximum spirit and your Innis Radiance as well. Important thing is, guys, that you want to keep the spirit at max with the buff on. So you're gonna see here, the spirit is going to reach max, and bam, the buff goes on, and then you lose 65 spirit per second. The way you keep it up is when you proc Flying Dragon, and then you have 2 attack speed passives, and also you have Dashing Strike Radiance. Even without Radiance, you will keep it up. You will keep the spirit up. So honestly, I think you do hit 5 attacks per second, even without Radiance. So keep that in mind. You will. I don't know what the breakpoints are after 5 attacks per second, or if there is even a breakpoint after that. But yes, you can reach higher than 5 attacks per second with the raiment set, for example. Just so you know, this set goes over 5 attacks per second. If you hit, let's say you hit 5 attacks per second without the raiment set, the attack speed from that, then yes. If you get the raiment set on top of that, you will hit over 5 attacks per second. But yeah, basically, with maximum spirit, both of these things are going to be procced. Both the damage of your spirit generators is increased for each point of spirit you have. That's going to be huge when you're at 392, for example. And then on top of that, you get 200% damage as well with the spirit being at max. So keep that in mind. Important thing is, guys, that you can see my attacks are 2.02, and if I have one fist that doesn't have 7 attack speed, I'm gonna switch it out here. Let's say the breakpoint is 2.2 to reach, 2.02. That's what you want to reach. All right, let's say that's it. If you have one fist not reaching that, your breakpoint of 2.2 is not going to be reached. So important that you have both fists sitting at 7 attacks per second. So otherwise, you're just not going to hit the breakpoint anyways. So it's useless. So keep that in mind, guys. Have 7 attacks, 7 attack speed on both fists. And if you don't have triple stats, Shenlong's fist like I have here, make sure that one has attack speed and life per hit, for example, and one has attack speed and area damage. And yeah, that's it for the fists. Let's move over to something. And also, of course, guys, if the fist doesn't have maximum spirit, it is useless. Keep that in mind. That's a lot of damage you lose if you don't have maximum spirit on your fist. For the spirit stone, also the same thing here. It must have maximum spirit, and you cannot use the raiment helm because the raiment helm cannot roll maximum spirit. So keep that in mind. Really important that you have the Innas Radiance and maximum spirit. The stats really good if you have dexterity, vitality, and crit chance. So really important that you have that. You cannot use anything else than the raiment shoulders here. It has to be raiment shoulders because there aren't any Innas shoulders in the game. And same with the belt. It cannot be raiment belt. There is only Innas belts that you can use. So the thing is here, the stats that you're looking for in the shoulders, exactly like mine here. Just like mine with area damage cooldown. And do not roll away. I see some people roll away all resist on shoulders and have dexterity, vitality, and area damage and cooldown. I don't see the point of this. I mean, Monk is a class that, you know, greatly benefits from having secondary or all resist, especially secondary resist because you have harmony with this build. But yeah, that's just my take on it. Do what you want. For the chest, I would say same stats as me, except for the last stats there. Increases, reduces damage from ranged attacks. That should be melee damage. And the reason behind that, guys, is because this build is really sensitive to arcane damage. So arcane damage is going to be reduced by 2 things, except for arcane resist, and that is elite damage reduction and also melee damage reduction. Like you can see here, we have arcane resist, but we also have a separate you can see here, separate melee damage reduction. So arcane deals arcane damage, of course, and also gets reduced if you have melee damage reduction. So keep that in mind. Really important. If you are lucky, you know, even something like this, but with melee damage reduction and lightning damage resist or arcane resist is also good. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I would say same stats as me here, but melee damage reduction instead of range damage reduction. Range damage reduction is not bad. It's just that you suffer. The highest damage you're gonna take is from arcane, and frozen is something that is also really annoying and deals a lot of damage. When the frozen stacks around you and explodes, that is gonna deal melee damage as well. So keep that in mind. All resist gems, of course. And then belt. There are 2 items that you can get crippling wave on, and that's the belt and pants. Same stats as I have here for those 2 pieces. So really good pants as well. Physical resist is also really good. And for the boots, you can use raiment. You can use Innas. Both are gonna give you the same kind of stats. If you have raiment boots, you can get life per second and armor, for example, and then physical resist or arcane. So probably the raiment boots are going to be better. With this set, you have a ton of life per second, and getting a little bit more is not bad. Most of your healing are going to be when you attack. So yeah, you heal a ton when you attack. So yeah, I mean, it's up to you. I would say I would say both Innas and Raiment Boots are good. But yeah, for the gloves, if you don't get quadfecta like me, you can have dexterity, crit, area damage, for example. And then you can roll 7 attack speed on one ring instead. But I think this combo is the best, where you have average damage on both rings and crit. Some people go for area damage on one ring. I don't. I feel like I tried a couple of different versions, and I felt like the damage was lower, especially since you don't have any average damage on your fists. You're gonna get a huge amount of damage when you have average damage on your rings. So it's up to you guys what you wanna go for there. But yeah, I would go for average damage on the rings. It's gonna, especially if you're lower level, it's gonna, like, which you will be on season, it's gonna significantly buff your damage if you have average damage. Gives you a huge amount of paper DPS. So keep that in mind. So yeah, convention of elements. You can also use Unity here and use COE in Cube. I'm not sure what's gonna be the best, but yeah, it's up to you. Probably Unity would be really good to use. I didn't try Unity when I was on PTR. I tried with the convention of elements, but yeah, you could try and see for yourself. As far as the Traveler's Pledge goes, fire damage, crit, pretty standard. Of course, better than this with secondary resist. In my opinion, will be really good, but getting even a Traveler's like this will be difficult probably. So it's not probably going to be difficult. I'm sorry, it's going to be very difficult to get stats like this. But anyways, for your spirit guards, as close to 60% as possible, guys. This is really important because this build is about being tanky and being in the middle of all kinds of, you know, bad affixes and bad stuff. There are a couple of affixes that you're gonna not be able to do and deal with. That is Frozen and that is Arcane. Those two are horrible affixes, and they're basically like, if you get, sometimes you get a good rift and you get one pack with Arcane Horde, for example, the whole rift is done. If that pack is you know, if that pack is fast, if it's like an accursed and it follows you, the rift is over. You are not going to complete that rift because of that one pack. So keep that in mind. You want to be as tanky as possible, so having spirit guards with 60% is kind of important, I would say. So keep that in mind. So that's pretty much it for the gear part. All resist gems, of course. Cooldown gem here and cooldown here. You want to be able to dash to get a decent amount of attack speed, so keep that in mind. Bam. And I got it back now. So keep that in mind. That's a perfect amount of cooldown. You don't need any more cooldown for this build. And yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to the gear here, guys. For the gems, of course, Bane of the Trapped. And this is going to be up the whole rift. Really important to have Bane of the Trapped. Significantly buffs your damage, and it's multiplicative as well. Then Bane of the Stricken, so you can kill the boss, of course. And Simplicity Strength here. I don't have one that is over level 0 right now. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know where it went, but yeah, it just disappeared. But yeah, this is going to give you an insane amount of damage when it comes to your primary skills, and of course, it's also going to heal you. No, I did try. I did try this build without life per hit, and the healing from hits from your primary abilities heal you was not enough to survive, you know, the nastier combinations. You can try, guys. I tried, and it just didn't go well. Let me just say that. As far as skills, Crippling, Wave, Mangle. This is your main damage dealing skill. You can try different ones, and I would say Mangle is by far the absolute best. Some of them may look like tempting, but guys, trust me, I've tried all of them. Nothing beats Mangle. Mangle also has a good area of effect as well compared to the other ones. So go with Mangle here. Assimilation, this is basically like when you jump in to and use your Cyclone Strike, enemies are around you, you attack, bam, 3 times, and then you get the assimilation stacks going, and you want to, like, I would say as long as it's like over 6-7 enemies, I would say that it's worth to use assimilation and get that buff up. So also, one thing that is important, when you're in physical rotation, I would say attack, use the physical, use assimilation instead of mangle. But of course, all of the rest of the elements that are gonna pop by with the convention, use mangle. So only for stacks and physical rotation is when you use assimilation. So Cyclone Strike, you can play around here as well. I'm gonna say straight up, this is the best Cyclone Strike that you can use. Mantra, agility, absolute best mantra you can have. 35% dodge, it's unbeatable when it comes to this build. Dash and Strike, Radiance. You could, for example, go with Blinding Speed. I suggest that you go with Radiance so that you can get that extra attack speed and the extra chance of proccing Flying Dragon. Breath of Heaven is really good. This is going to allow you to keep your spirit, like when it starts to drain and you don't proc Flying Dragon, you can still deal a decent amount of damage. So keep that in mind. This is basically to give you a good spirit per second when once Flying Dragon is not up. Harmony, mandatory for this build. You have to have this. This is gonna give you a huge amount of secondary resist. So keep that in mind. This is not something that you can switch out. Same with Alacrity. You have to have this. This is gonna buff your attack speed. Same with Seized Initiative. This is gonna be up the whole rift. You're gonna have enemies that are gonna be above 75%, pretty much the whole rift. And Exalted Soul is a must as well. This not only does it give you 4 spirit per second, it also increases your maximum spirit, which makes you deal more damage. So 50 maximum spirit, that is insane. As you can see here, 50% here, 50 maximum spirit here as well. So yeah, it gives you as much as the Paragon points does. Really, really good. And as far as your follower, I would say I would use Enchantress so you get 3% attack speed. If you're missing a little bit of attack speed somewhere, this is going to help you reach it. So yeah, keep that in mind. I would use her. And then Erosion and Missile Ward. You can also use the Powered Armor here, actually, because like if you're lower Paragon, this will buff up your armor quite a lot. So keep that in mind. It's not bad. 3%, and also... and slowing melee attackers. Like, yeah, it's really, really good. So I would say either Powered Armor or Missile Ward, but I would probably take Powered Armor here. This is actually not bad. As far as these two, I would not use these because they do, like, people ask me all the time, like, hey, Marv, why aren't you using the Enchantress skills? I do. It's just that these two are just annoying. I don't want her to charm an enemy. Like, sometimes she charms... an elite, and that elite runs away to attack something else, and I can't do anything. It's uncontrollable, so I can't do anything. So that's not something you want to happen. So same with this one here. Knocking back all enemies. Like sometimes you have a whole group, you've grouped them up nicely with a good Cyclone Strike, and she just like boom, and everything like flies around here. So that's basically the build, guys. As far as the cube, you have to use the Flying Dragon here in the cube, Curtis Boots, and here you do not use Royal Ring, because the season will give you Royal Ring of Grandeur for free, so you use Unity. I wanted to show you the build, so basically that's why I had Royal Ring up, because here I'm on non-season, and the buff is not up yet, the Royal Ring buff. So I can't show you the build. I'm not going to get the Mystic Allies here. So that's why I had Royal Ring equipped. But yeah, you use Unity here. Unity and follower items. Important that you have followers cannot die. and Unity as well, so she doesn't die, and you do get the Unity buff. And of course, Oculus Ring. Don't listen to people when it comes to Oculus Rings that say that 84% is acceptable. Even a really bad Oculus Ring with 85%, guys, is what you should use. I see monks sometimes, support monks and support barbs, use 70% Oculus Rings. This is multiplicative damage, guys. This is more damage than Stone of Vengeance at max level. This is not a joke. If you don't have a maximum Oculus Ring, guys, I mean, go for the highest one that you have. This is more important than you may think. Good players, you will see them a lot. They jump into the Oculus Rings to get that damage buff. So keep that in mind. Really important that your follower does have a good Oculus Ring. This will buff your damage significantly. Thunder Fury is also really good. This basically makes it so that the enemies hit slower and they also move slower. So I would say attack speed and cooldown on everything you can have attack speed and cooldown on. So this is not optimized. Obviously, you want to have cooldown here. And this is a good, really good amulet. You don't want to have an amulet that pulls enemies or something like that, or does anything to make the enemies do something stupid. So just have whatever amulet that is not gonna have an effect on the mobs. Anyways, guys, I hope you will have a good time in Season 16 and try this build out. It is a little complicated sometimes, but it's not that difficult to play, I would say. It's just, it can take some time to get used to, but I really love this build, especially with the Innas. This made the build really tanky, and also these Mystic Allies, they do tank some damage for you, so keep that in mind. They are purple dots on the map, so if one is here, it's not going to do so much because you can Cyclone Strike them in and get the enemies around you. Anyways, guys, good luck. Have a wonderful Season 16. Try out this build, and let me know in chat what you think about it once you've tried it out, and I catch you guys later. Give the video a like if you like the video, and get subscribed. I will post, I post almost every week now, at least a couple of videos every week. So catch you guys later. Peace out.